Yeah, he wasn't good on Saturday. I'm not sure. A lot of people were talking about that on the postgame show too on Friday. It's like, how can you defend him? It's like, we literally said, like, hey, he played terrible. He's played terrible against Toronto the week before. The goalie conversation is probably as strong as it's ever been against Skinner for them to go out and get us another guy. I don't know what you want them to do. Karel Vejmelka is not available because Utah's trying to make the playoffs. John Gibson is probably too expensive. Yes, you can get some retention, but if you get John Gibson, it's pretty much your only move unless you move some money out. So if you think John Klingberg is the answer on the blue line, then you can go get John Klingberg answer. You can go get John Gibson. If you don't, and you have to reevaluate things there, I don't think Anaheim's going to want to retain for 2 years still at, what is he, 6.4, 6.1?
6.4.
6.4. I think, hey, they need to figure it out. And Skinner, I think it has to be done in-house, and Skinner needs to be better.
See, for me, if you're making goalie change, you're not doing it in season. I know Colorado had this entire crease surgery that happened, and so far it's worked, and kudos to them. But for a team that has had, obviously, this history, and for the last couple of years, of being such a tight-knit team and a close team, to go in the middle of the season and try and shake up, it's a big shake-up, because you're essentially saying, hey, Stu, we don't trust you. The people in this locker room here don't trust you. And I forget who it was that said it, but it's coming to my head because I watched it after that Friday game. I saw people say to pull Skinner like after the first goal or whatever.
You can't do that.
You can't do that to your goaltender's confidence because it's the same thing. You're essentially saying what you're doing in this game is what you do. You can't win me a hockey game. You cannot win me a hockey game. Our team is better with you not on the ice. And that kind of goes to a similar kind of conversation to acquiring a goaltender. This is the type of surgery that you need to do in the off season, especially if it's going to be somebody who's more of a 1B and not a backup. You know, like they're going to be playing more weight on their shoulders. And the thing with John Gibson is, you mentioned it as well with his contract, he has 2 more years under him. He's having a great year this year, but how can we promise he's going to in the next 2 years?
And he wasn't that good the year before that. And you can make the argument of like, the Anaheim doesn't have the defense. Like Lucas Dostal's done perfectly fine. And their numbers are quite drastically different. McDowell's put in here. My preference is they still run a tandem of Skinner and Gibson. A good name in here. Walking Campbell's Cat. Great name. I said, who cares how much it costs? They can make it work. It's not about the acquisition price. It's about the cap. And the idea, like, I honestly don't know what an equivalent contract would be. I know Anaheim moved on from Cam Fowler this season. That costs there, and he has 1 more year left after this one. Keep in mind, they have 1 more year after that one for Gibson. He costs them a prospect I haven't heard of before and a 2nd-round pick. So obviously some retention there as well. So not exactly groundbreaking deal, but it's just a difficult thing to do. Naeem, nothing would improve the ceiling of the Oilers like getting a legit elite 1B. I just don't know who's out there. JBD Gibson is 3rd in goals saved above expected per 60. Skinner is 43. Pickett is 54th. Yep, Gibson is playing much better right now. Gibson is playing much better right now than those 2 guys. But sorry, Brett, go ahead and move on.
I think the issue, what's going on here is we're all on the same road.
We all think that a goaltending, they can upgrade their goaltending, and no one would sit here and say, like, what a terrible decision. It's just like the market isn't quite there yet. Like, I know there was that speculation the other day of like Gibson would waive his no trade clause to come to Edmonton. No shit. No kidding. Like, the Oilers are the best team in the NHL, top 5 team, whatever you want to call them, a legit contender. Pretty much any player in the NHL that has a no-move clause would probably waive their contract, their agreement to come and play in Edmonton. That's not what we're talking about. It's trying to figure out a way to do it. I don't know how they got Gibson here. I don't know how they make that money work because they don't have the cap. There was that whole thing the other week, and I think I have a grip on it now. They can't make 1 move with their LTIR and their salary cap. They can only make 2 separate ones. So the Evander Kane money is 5.5, somewhere, whatever it is. We all know, somewhere around there. That does not fit the John Gibson. So they have to ask Anaheim to retain all of that, whatever the difference would be. Let's just call it $1 million for the sake of argument, $900K. Then that's how you make it work. But then what does that cost you at that point? Is Anaheim going to do that for 2 years? Maybe they would. Maybe they don't have to worry about that. They have $17 million in cap space right now this season. The cap is going up. It would certainly allow them to be more free for the year after. But nevertheless, right now, this is not a conversation because Stan Bowman went out on Friday. I think that report came out too from Pierre LeBrun when he sat down with him and said, we're not looking at goalie. We believe in our 2 goalies. And somehow the conversation has grown more, obviously because of the way Skinner played on Saturday. But we can't do this, guys. I can't do this anymore today. Like, I understand we want to talk about it, and it's a huge talking point, and I appreciate you all talking and bringing up comments in the chat. I really, really do think that the Oilers are going to look to do it in the offseason. That's when they'll figure it out. If Skinner can't get it done for them this year, and then we can all discuss it from there. It's going to be a huge topic of conversation over the summer, and that is what it is.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.